I'm Judge Penny Wolfgang. Are you going to enjoy a staycation in our hometown this summer or travel to a far-off destination? We'll meet the expert with great travel tips, breaking ground on a new veterinary tech school, and a salute to Memorial Day, right here, right now, on The Big Picture. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the program. With the warmer weather here, vacation season is upon us, finally. Are you staying around here this summer for all the festivals, or are you planning a trip? With the answers for all things travel-related, we welcome back our friend Elizabeth Carey, the Director of Public Relations and Corporate Communications for the AAA of Western and Central New York. Welcome back, Elizabeth.
Thanks so much for having me.
That is a really long title.
It is.
So now, with the cost of everything going up, are people staying home, like locally, or traveling locally, or doing what they call staycations and enjoying what we have here at home? Do you find that?
Well, what we're seeing is a real mix. So people are actually doing both. So we're seeing people, despite you said that prices are higher, people splurging on travel. That's the big trend this year. People want upgrades. They want suites. They want balconies on cruise ships. They want spa treatments. And they're willing to pay the price for it. So people are just really excited about travel. It's kind of like, they don't want to have the fear of missing out, that FOMO. They want to make sure that they're there and they're taking part in all these travel and making these memories and having all these experiences together. But at the same time, we always see families and individuals saying, this is warm weather here in Western New York. We want to make the most of it. So festival season, local attractions. So we'll see people take time off of work to stay, local as well. So it's a nice mix.
Well, on the going away, a lot of it has to do with COVID, because people had booked trips, for example. I have friends who had paid for, like you mentioned, a cruise, and now they're all coming, they couldn't go. So now everyone is like really anxious to get away in that regard.
Right. That's why we're seeing these travel numbers that are so strong. It's pre-pandemic numbers. We're seeing people saying, you know what, we want to make these experiences multi-generational travel, grandma, grandpa, the parents, the kids, the whole group, the cousins, whatever it might be, and also couples, individuals, adventure travel. There's something for everyone out there.
Adventure travel? Okay, the question is, are they going to drive because the gas is so high, or are they going to fly, or is there a lot of both?
It really is a lot of both. So what we're seeing as far as drive, and the good old-fashioned family road trip is still a very popular one. So we're seeing people heading down to Myrtle Beach, heading to the Outer Banks, going to any East Coast beaches. People just want to flock to the water and get to the sand. And so it's like a tradition for a lot of people to do that. But then also people driving out west to the national parks to see that over the summer. That's always popular. And then for the fly destinations, it would be people flying, down to cruise ports to make sure they hop on these cruise ships and get there in time, but also traveling around the globe. So European river cruising is extremely popular right now. Italy, Ireland, Iceland, all those areas over, around the globe are very, very popular.
Yeah, I know so many people going to all the places that you just mentioned and having trouble getting, like you just said, getting a suite, a cabin, a balcony, because there's pent up, that's what they're calling it, pent up travel.
Yeah, demand.
Yeah, right?
That high demand and that limited availability. So people want to get out there, and like you said, okay, Christmas, do you remember what you got? Do you remember what sweater you opened up? Not really, but you don't forget the vacations that you took.
Right, and that's interesting you should say that. It's the idea of planning a vacation with the family and going to, like you said, Ireland or Hawaii or Alaska, or a really far away place or something, is very popular now. It's a gift. Like so many people said to me, at the holidays, my son gave me a gift and we're all going in August to blah, 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 someplace.
I would love to accept the gift of travel. Sounds wonderful. And Alaska, you mentioned, very popular every summer, because that's when the cruise season takes place up in Alaska. People want to see the wildlife, experience the glaciers, and that's kind of the social media effect. People see, someone posted this on Facebook or Instagram, and they see it, and then they want to go too.
So many times people have said to me, do you want to go to Alaska? And I have answered, I live in Alaska, but not in the summer.
It's hard to leave when it's finally warm here.
A little bit locally, talking about locally, we have all these festivals, and plus we have Niagara Falls like in our backyard. people come to our region, do you notice, for the festivals or for the destination of Niagara Falls?
Oh yeah, Niagara Falls is always a big destination. Of course, it's a wonder of the world. People want to get there and they see it, and they'll tie in the local festivals with that. So it might be, you know, the Taste of Buffalo or the Erie County Fair, Wing Fest, whatever it might be. And what we'll see is some expatriates, you know, people who used to live in Buffalo,
Yes.
who moved elsewhere, coming home to go to those festivals, but also bringing friends and family with them. So they want to show off their original hometown. So we get a lot of visitors that way.
I said at the very beginning, is it more expensive to fly or drive? So the way the price of gas keeps going up and up. But I think the answer to that is I'm going to ask you, is it going to go up? But I'm going to answer my own question. It probably does always in the summer and around the holidays, right?
Yeah, summer is always more expensive. Summer blend fuel is more expensive to produce. Winter blend is cheaper, and there's higher demand in the summer. So the gas prices are always up higher. But what we're seeing is no one wants to pay anything extra for gas. Everything, it's always too high. But people will still take that trip. It's not enough to stop them from going on the trip. So even if it's a family that's looking for something really economical, it's still cheaper for them to pack up the car and drive. And then maybe when they get to their destination, they wouldn't go out to eat one night. They might cook in one night, and that would balance out the cost.
AAA always has great tips forever on if you're driving somewhere with your family, how do you plan it? We used to get those, do they still do it?
The triptychs?
The triptychs telling you how to go. Yeah, I remember that for
Well, they used to be
years
done
ago.
by hand with a highlighter, actually done by hand, and now they're done on a
Yes.
computer, but we still have the good old-fashioned triptych.
You do?
Yes.
Yeah. And also, what are some tips that you want to give people if they are driving on their vacation?
Yeah, well, I had mentioned the national park, so that's a perfect example. People are like, I have my phone, I don't need a paper map, but people will still come in because you're going to remember some of the places you're going might be remote wilderness. So you're going to want to make sure you have that paper map and those directions so you can guide yourself along, because your cell phone might not have service out there. So that's something to keep in mind. Also, if you're looking at the best prices, you know, being flexible with your dates is going to get you the best prices and the best availability. So if you have a little bit of flexibility with your schedule, you should shop around and try and find that cheaper price for you.
And let's talk about the car itself. You're always saying, like, even not just winter, obviously, but there's certain tips that you give people about getting the car ready and being sure it's safe and being, I don't know, having enough gas. No, that's not
Right.
don't run out of gas. Oh, I could do that myself. But.
Well, even with the modern vehicles that we're seeing on the roads these days, still the number of calls, the top calls from AAA are always flat tire, keys locked in the car, and they run out of gas. So, or a dead
good.
battery.
I
There
just
you
made
go.
that up.
So the good idea is to have your car checked over from a certified mechanic before you go on your trip. And if it's making a funny noise when it's starting, that's a sign that your battery could be going. And a lot of people don't realize that the heat in summer takes a big toll on your battery, even worse than in the winter. So you got to make sure the battery's in good working condition. And in this area, we usually get about 3 to 5 years on a car battery. So just making sure you have it checked over before you take that road trip, it's going to help you and hopefully prevent like roadside breakdown.
And then if you're traveling, like you travel a lot for your job, obviously, and I do for fun, but if you're traveling like with family and there are delays or problems, are there certain things that you could tell them to prepare or be ready? If you're going to say be patient, forget that.
We do like to say pack your patience, but we also do remind people to protect their investments. So say you're traveling by air, you want to make sure that you do have travel insurance, because even if the flight is delayed, there are clauses in there where you will get reimbursed because you had to sit and wait in the airport. If the cruise ship has to leave a port early or something like that, there's reimbursements there. So you definitely want to talk to a travel agent about that, making sure that you do have that protection, but also bringing activities for the kids to keep them, at peace or, comfortable in the airport or in the car, whatever it might be, snacks, some types of games. If you're taking a road trip, the good old-fashioned license plate game is always a good one.
I remember that.
Yeah, you try and find something for the kids to do other than putting in electronics in front of them. You know what I mean? So some books or some activities and puzzles and things like that.
People are obsessed with their pets, with their animals. I know friends of mine, when they plan where they're going, we have to take Spot. We don't know if this hotel will take Spot. We don't know, that kind of thing. What should they, are hotels becoming more pet friendly?
Absolutely, they definitely are. So we're seeing a lot of hotels, nice hotels that say, oh yeah, you can bring your dog, but read the fine print because there might be a pound limit, you know, a certain size. Like if he's 100 pounds, maybe he won't be able to go. If 30 pounds, he'd be okay. So check that out in advance and just be aware that some of them do have a fee for a pet. So, and if there's an incident in the room, you might have a cleaning fee too. So make sure you keep all that in mind if you're traveling with your pet.
You probably hear this a lot, right? Well, my friends that have Spot is like a mini horse. So it is not going to, it is not, I hope they're not watching. It is not going to qualify, not going to qualify. If, besides the trip picks that we were talking about, the whatever, you know, that we love, what else should people, does AAA do to help you prepare for a trip?
Well, everything, really. I mean, you can, like we mentioned, the maps and all of that, but we think about luggage, luggage tags, little trinkets. Have you used those packing cubes yet?
Yes,
Yeah,
I did.
They
yes,
help you fit so much more into your suitcase in a tight space.
You have to learn how to use them.
Yes, you do, you do. So we sell all of that right at AAA too. So everything that you need for your vacation, it's a one-stop shop.
I usually just throw everything in, but as you all know, I've been traveling with my daughter a lot lately, and she's like, Mom, haven't I told you a million times how to pack? Why are you, where are the little packs like you just said I bought you? And put it on the bottom and put this on the top, and I don't know. What about going to, before I forget, what about going to Canada? That's the big trip. You know, so many people here have homes in Canada, go to Canada for vacation, you know, type. The regulations, have things changed? Because during COVID, it was impossible.
Right, it was so challenging during COVID, and so many people with property up there were so upset about it. But now it's so much easier to cross back over into the border now. Just make sure you have the right identification. If you have a passport, you're good to go. Some people use the enhanced driver's license, so that'll get you through too. And if you're taking children, you can just have a birth certificate for the children, but they do need that photo ID. So enhanced driver license or a passport card, Nexus, something like that to cross over into Canada. But it's still a very, very popular destination.
It is, especially for people from here. I once asked you this, what are the most popular destinations from Buffalo?
So it's just funny, no matter what the occasion is, Orlando always comes out number one.
Yep.
So the theme parks are always a draw for families. So Orlando's always at the top. This summer we're seeing internationally a lot of people going to Rome, Italy. So yeah, that was number one for the summer destination for the
Paris.
Yeah, Paris is always up there.
Well,
the Olympics.
Right?
You know, people just really just want to see these different cultures and have these different experiences, and that's the big trend that we're seeing right now. So, like I said, people like really heading around the globe. Like I mentioned Ireland already, and some people like saying, you know what, we want to go travel to Asia and take a river cruise there. So there's so many different opportunities for people to go see the world. It's really, really incredible.
Now, if you are planning a trip for the fall even, you have to do it now.
Yes.
I found out. I
Yes.
mean, it might be too late even now.
We're seeing people booking 2025 and even 2026 already. So people are planning ahead, and that's so unusual. It never used to be like that. But we do see people plan ahead. It doesn't mean there's no availability for the fall. You can definitely still get a trip, but people like to get a trip on the books. For instance, when the Buffalo Bills schedule came out, the phones started ringing, and people were saying, we want to follow the team on the road and be there.
They want to, especially, let me guess, the Florida, the Miami
Of course.
game. You know, they want to get their tickets right away. That's probably the most popular, right?
Yeah, it's very popular. My pick is, I think you should go to Houston, see the game there, and then go to Port of Galveston and take a cruise out of the Port of Galveston. You'll have the game and a cruise.
What a great tip. I hope people watch, they have to watch this program, The Big Picture, because look, they just learned something so important from you.
Right.
Really, I think, you know, I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, they could see Stefan Diggs on the other team and see how that goes.
Well, we'll leave that part out. Are you going away this summer?
Well, my daughter plays travel lacrosse, so we have a lot of trips planned tied to the team. So we'll be going up to Boston, out to Philadelphia. We're going to go to Cape May and check that out after the Philadelphia tournament. So looking to make the most of these family memories as well. And this is something we're seeing in AAA too. A lot of families going to some big cities and tying in college tours. So people going to cities like Boston or Chicago and taking that college tour experience and really turning it into a family vacation.
Yeah, I know. I remember doing that. And last year, I remember my daughter doing that. You know, they went south and filled in when they went there, let's say to Atlanta, and then they'd go sightseeing there and whatever. So let us tell everyone where they can get more information on the AAA.
Yeah, so it's so easy. You can go online to the AAA website, that's AAA.com, full of information, whether it's automotive, safety, travel, whatever it might be. And if you want to call, the easiest number to remember is 1-800-AAA-HELP. And that could get you help on the roadside or help with anything else that you might need.
Or if you're lucky enough to be a friend of Elizabeth Carey, like we are here on the big picture, just call her up.
Yeah, just give me a ring. That happens a lot.
All the tips that she just gave us right here on the show. So thank you so much. Elizabeth Carey, I'm going to say the whole title, Director of Public Relations and Corporate Communications for the AAA of Western and Central New York. Okay, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
We'll
you.
be right back.